School principal needed to go.
A state report determined Vicki Letty unfit to lead at Moore High School. Last week, she took one last shot at holding onto her job, but tonight may have been the nail in the coffin. Wave 2 News reporter Casey Cunningham joining us live with more on what happened tonight.
Shannon, a council decided that Vicki Letty was as principal.
Principal Letty, is there anything else you want to say to the students or staff here?
I have no comment.
Vicki Letty will not be returning to more traditional school, at least as principal. The school's council decided not to appeal a report by the state that called Letty unfit to lead.
If we want this school to be successful, Miss Letty is not the choice for leadership.
Letty made another plea to stay.
It's my recommendation that I stay as a high school principal and we hire a lead middle school principal.
A page from the state's report said Letty had created an environment that was inconsistent and sporadic.
Many interviewees stated that the principal plays favorites and intimidates those she does not value.
It's a statement that rings familiar to former River Valley Middle School teacher Sandy Gordon.
You know, if somebody tells you you're something long enough, you start questioning if you are.
She worked with the principal years ago when Letty was being investigated by Clark County school officials for creating a hostile work environment.
The sad thing is, it's time for them to put a stop to how many people she's hurt, how many students she's hurt.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
7-4.
Separating the truth from the lies, coming at you from underneath the Newton, Georgia, heavily chemtrailed sky. You're about to receive a dose of the shock treatment. I have to revisit this. I feel convicted to do so. Teachers, you just saw a news clip showing a principal that was very abusive to her staff. And this is going on far too long. There's too many teachers that have lost their careers, their livelihood, their homes, their marriages to these abusive administrators who've pretty much driven them out of the field that they have worked so hard to be in. By the way, this is a chemtrailed, overcast sky. That's why I keep telling you that. It's time to wake up, party people and party sheeple, but this is a very important topic. This one is near and dear to my heart because, you know, these people that are in power, they're bosses, they're actually dictators. You know, they're like little Hitlers in the school. These are the ones that are making teachers' lives miserable. These are the ones that are treating educators like third-class citizens. They pit the student against the teacher, the parent against the teacher. The teachers work so hard, put themselves in hock, some of whom are 6 digits in number, owe that much on their student loan, and then they get pretty much harassed out of the profession, so they owe on the student loan, they get blacklisted, and it's all because of these bastards, these administrators that are just drunk with power. They need to be taken the hell out of the school. They need to be fired immediately. Folks, forget about GAE, forget about PACE. They enlist the administrators, enroll them just like they do teachers. So when your administrator's abusing you, when they're harassing you, when they're crawling up your ass with a microscope 24 hours a day, they're constantly in your room, they're making up stories, they're questioning your student that has a tendency to fall asleep and not make the grade. But what do you think about so-and-so? What do you think he's going to think? He's failing. He's going to blame it on the teacher, you jackass. I'm sorry, folks, but this pisses me off. This topic is near and dear to me. Forget about Paige, folks. Forget about him. I'm telling you, you need M.A.C.E. This M.A.C.E is headed up by Dr. John Trotter, who's an attorney with education of the education system. He knows it inside and out. And this is the M.A.C.E manifesto that he personally gave to me. The politically incorrect, irreverent, and scatological examination of what is wrong with American public education. I'll tell you what's wrong. It's these freaking administrators. This is the guy right here that'll shut him down. That's not Dr. John Trotter. I apologize. I don't look like him. But anyway, needless to say, this is account after there he is. There's the man, Dr. John Trotter. There's the staff. Let me tell you something. They don't play. There was a registrar that was in Fulton County that was blamed for tampering with grades. He went and shut that down, folks. Shut it down. They were harassing her. They were making up stories, fake news. But that's what these administrators do. They'll say you didn't enter in a grade. They'll say you didn't do this, you didn't do that when you did it. And if you didn't do it, why didn't the parent come to you instead of going to them all of a sudden? Huh? Why all? Because they're full of crap is why. If you have a good rapport with your students, with your parents I should say, they should be contacting you if there's ever discrepancy, folks. And if your principal's acting shady with you, and all of a sudden saying a parent called them instead of the parent naturally calling you, then Houston, we got a problem. It's fake news. You should say, well, what's the name of the parent? And then they don't tell you because they're making it up. Don't you see? They're trying to build the case against you. This is why you need M.A.C.E. M.A.C.E. is the kick-ass teachers union, and M.A.C.E. does not think that you can have good learning conditions until you first have good teaching conditions. Well, duh, but these administrators are effing it up. And don't tell me that these kids don't smell blood when they see these friggin' administrators that never used to be in your room, then all of a sudden they're in your, up your ass constantly, and they're not giving you feedback, teachers, are they? And then when you ask for feedback, they say, finally, they say, oh, you want feedback, do you? Well, we're going to give you feedback, and then they sock it to you with their bullshit. Because you know what it is? It's all politics. It's all deep state. And if you're not puckering up just the right amount with them, if they get a wild hair up their ass or bug up their ass, for whatever reason, maybe you stopped, staying past your contract hour at 4 o'clock. Maybe you stopped volunteering to be the freaking coach. Whatever it is, maybe you just became too popular for them. But there's something radically wrong in the public education system among the lies that they teach these students. But it's the way these friggin' administrators treat their teachers. Get them the hell out, damn it! They need to be fired. The way they treat these teachers, like third classes. The teachers went to school they busted their arse. I'm talking about blood, sweat, and tears. All right? You should treat them like professionals that they are. So I'm sick of this. So you should be sick of it too, teachers. And just because this hasn't touched you, don't think it might not one day. You're not immune. You're not immune unless you're in with them, the deep state, huh? Because that's what I'm going to call them. M.A.C.E. feels that this is radically wrong because they're talking about the abuse of administrators. You see it. They're arrogant. They're disgusting. And they're angry and arrogant administrators, and they abuse their classroom educators. Yes, they do. How is it when one teacher's getting mentored by another teacher, we'll say history, and that mentoring history teacher gets to do like open notebook tests, open book, what do they call open notebook tests, and you go do the same thing that the mentor teacher said you could do because that's what he does. How is it you're wrong for doing it, but that person's okay for doing it, your mentor teacher? See, there's something wrong with this shit. This is what pisses me off, but this is what's going on, and they're like gangsters. That's what they run it like. Yes, they do. And they do tag teaming observations, tag administrator, they have principal and then they have other administrators in there, assistant principals. Tag, you're in assistant principal number 1. Tag, you're in, go ahead and go in his room now. It's 5th period. You go in 6th period. Those kids are going to smell blood. They're going to start saying, and, there are actual, sometimes groups of kids, like in 6th grade, that actually get one teacher fired in the 6th grade, then move up to 7th grade and try to work on the 7th grade teachers. And if the freaking administration panders to the kids instead of siding with the professional, it's a disaster is what it becomes. That's what it becomes. No teacher left behind. I agree with that. I've known a teacher that was pretty much forced to resign, and she was tired of the abuse, and she wasn't getting help from any GAE or Page, and she wound up losing, borrowing money from a 90-year-old mother. She was very depressed. She couldn't find a job because she was getting blackballed. She found crappy jobs, couldn't make the payments, and she's borrowing money from a 90-year-old mother in Texas. And she was also taking painkillers and basically wound up dead as a result of this. All right? Because there is a chain reaction. These freaking administrators act like they're God. And this goes for any boss. People are trying to make a living out there, and if they're doing they're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't treat them like they're doing something wrong. But we need to get rid of these gutless administrators, these freaking clueless administrators who forgot what it's like to be in the freaking classroom. I'm sick and tired of. What else does it say? What else does it say for M.A.C.E? Because they stand for a lot. There's an epidemic of violence in our public schools. Children deserve futures, not funerals. So many of today's administrators simply lack guts. Yes, they do. How many times, teachers, have you, yeah, they're weasels. How many times have you freaking teachers, sent the kid to the office only for the kid to come back 20 minutes later, and you're the bad guy? So let's cut the crap. You need to get M.A.C.E teachers. Forget about Page. Forget about GAE. They're not going to do anything for you. But Dr. John Trotta and his organization will. They'll go to bat for you. GAE old, Page cheap, M.A.C.E aggressive. You need Page. You need M.A.C.E. M.A.C.E is the place, located in Fayetteville, Georgia. I met with Dr. John Trotta. We're friends, and this is the only thing you need, really. If you don't get M.A.C.E, you're gambling with your career, basically. M.A.C.E is the place. I don't know if this is going to play, but this is showing a union protest. I don't know. Probably not going to play. That's all right. But don't take my word for it. Just go to their website, go to their Facebook, go to their website, go to their Facebook page. If you've been a teacher for a few years, chances are that you've been a member of one of the unions. I've been a member of Page. I've been a member of GAE. Both of them suck. I think Page is worse than GAE. I don't know. Two shades of if you ask me. But M.A.C.E is the place. Too bad I found about this a little too late. I'm telling you, man. I probably would be teaching today if I had M.A.C.E. 7 years out of the profession, man. And it's had a bad impact. It's had an impact on my life. I'll say that. I'm not going to say bad, but I mean, it's not pretty getting blackballed out there, folks, is it? So it's time for M.A.C.E. You need them. And believe me, they'll be there bullhorn. They'll be there with the signs. They'll be in the principal's office. Oh, yeah, that principal is singing a different tune. They'll be whistling Dixie. They'll be singing your praises like they once did. What's up with that? They used to love you, and all of a sudden they didn't. You didn't change. They did. Don't you see it? Don't you get it? Drunk with power, these principals. It's time to push back, folks. It's time to get M.A.C.E. Or not. The choice is yours. It's your career, not mine. All right? I've already dealt with this nonsense. Administrators fear M.A.C.E. So you should get M.A.C.E. all the more. All right, teachers? You got 1 month till school starts back up, practically a month and a week. Contact Shakalaka. Those of you know me. You can inbox me on here and for more details, and I can hook you up personally. But you need M.A.C.E. M.A.C.E is the place, and they'll definitely get the job done. They'll go to bat for you like nobody else. All right, folks, teachers, you better get M.A.C.E if you know what's good for you. Until next time, you've received the shock treatment.